Well then, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, happy Monday to everybody watching live this evening as I come to you from Studio 118, aka The Loft. It's time for a wee bit of a vent, a rant as things start to verge on negative once again at Celtic, and I think most fans are feeling that frustration this evening, and especially after last night's game. We now verge on the point of ending this transfer window with a squad that's not good enough to win a league title. We verge on the point of risking so much domestic success over these last few years to the hands of both Hearts and Rangers, and basically we just risk the unknown as things stand. We are now a week away from... Oh, there's my speakers turned on. I always forget to turn them off as I come into one of these streams. As things stand, we are a week away from the transfer window closing. Celtic, 26 days into the window, have spent £0 in investment to fix this Celtic squad. By the 26th of January, all we have to show for a full transfer window, essentially, where we are right now, is 2 loan signings. One being the right back, of course, Julian Araujo. The other being Thomas Chivinchara, who started his first game for Celtic yesterday. So it's a bleak time. We have less than 7 days to fix this problem, to sort out an entire situation, a problematic situation. Do I have much faith that Celtic will do it? No, we have got some reports coming out tonight in regards to Celtic's transfer strategy over these next 7 days. We'll talk about that. It is looking, once again, very loan heavy. No money wanting to be spent, while across the road, Rangers are investing in their squad. Hearts have used this entire window to invest in their squad. Celtic right now, and this is the bottom line, ladies and gentlemen. Call it what you like. If you think I'm over-exaggerating, Celtic right now are acting like a third place side. They're acting like a side that wants to finish third in the league title race this season. So I'm sure we all have plenty of things to say in regards to tonight and this stream moving forward over the next week. And Utrecht Thursday, Falkirk Sunday. There's a lot happening. There's a lot happening, and I'm not full of a faith or confidence that it's going to be good in that regard. So, just to start off the stream, big thank you to Jacob who donated £5. What a legend! First donation of the stream. You're a top man, mate. Saying the collective need to do something other than statements. Boycott matches, leaving after a while. No season tickets till these rats are gone. I'm sure that will be covered at some point in this stream, the Q&A. I know that there is a fan collective meeting being organised for next week. I think that we have reached the point, and listen, I'll come back to this later. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it at the top of the stream because we do have stuff to cover. But I think we have reached a point now where there has to be... if you want to use the word radical, feel free, but there has to be some sort of radical movement to stand up to this Celtic board, because quite simply we're not doing enough, I don't think, and nothing is going to change. Look, I'm very low in faith that much will change as long as Dermot Desmond is running this football club, but there is more I think that we can do as a support to make our voices clear and to hit them in their pockets. But we'll come on to that, we'll talk about that eventually. Thank you for the donation, mate, and yeah, let's listen. I know the chat's flying, we have over 500 live viewers in the opening 5 minutes of the stream. I'm sure you have got a lot to say and we'll get to it. Let's very quickly touch over a couple of things before we go into the transfer stuff. Celtic tonight released a statement, or I should say this evening released a statement about the red card that was issued to Austin Trusty on Sunday. Celtic have confirmed that the club will be submitting an appeal to the SFA with the in relation to the red card imposed on Austin Trusty, with the, of course, intention of that red card being overturned. Now, I don't know what will come out from this, if the red card will be overturned or not. Of course, it should be. Now, I know I done my video yesterday, and I saw a couple of people were pretty unhappy with my take on it. Being pretty deflated and frustrated after yesterday's game, I wasn't dwelling too much on the red card situation. I thought there was bigger fish to fry, to be quite honest. But yeah, it was a shocker. We all know it was. I'm not surprised they gave the red. I said it yesterday. I knew it was going to happen. So I have this bare minimum expectation now of the VAR officials, the on-the-park officials, the SFA in general, to get any of these decisions right. They're fucking useless. Every club is being affected by them. I don't believe in any grand conspiracy in the direction of one team or other. I think that they're just completely and utterly terrible at their job. So Celtic will be appealing that red card. I'm sure we can come on to talk about this later. We'll wait to see what the outcome of that is. Apparently this red card situation with Austin Trusty has sped up the process of Celtic looking for a centre-half in the next week of the transfer window, which means we probably won't sign any. But Celtic did issue that statement tonight. Now this has been talked about to death over the last 24 hours from all angles and by basically every corner of the media, fan media, traditional MSM, whatever you like it's been everywhere. So I'll spare you it tonight. I think that the referees are terrible at their jobs. I think that the VARs, the people in the VAR rooms should be held to a higher account and standard. I corrected myself very quickly when I went on the Celtic Exchange yesterday, and I said I said I expected them to give him the red card, but that's no excuse for them to do it. I've settled into this state of mind where I'm just not surprised by anything that the officials do in these games. But it's not an excuse. It doesn't mean they can just get away with it. So I hope something happens from this. But, we're not the only team that's been affected by dodgy refereeing, dodgy red cards, dodgy VAR decisions. I'll spare you the drivel tonight. I think we've got a lot more to talk about. As I said, I think Celtic have a week. If you want and this might rub people up the wrong way. Look, I get it. We all feel hard done by the Callum McGregor, the Austin Trusty red card. We have a lot more to worry about than that, ladies and gents. And, as much as I want that red card to be overturned, and as much as I'm feeling aggrieved by the decision that was taken to send them off when it wasn't a sending off, listen, it's down at the bottom of my concerns right now. My concerns lie elsewhere. Celtic are in a position where they have a week to save the season, in my opinion, and we need to make signings. Hearts, yesterday at Tynecastle, showed that. Quite extensively, actually, how poor a side that we've got right now, how, I'm going to use it again, sorry for using the same word to death, but how uninspiring this Celtic team is right now. It's a team that lacks any spark, any creativity, real quality, and we've waited 26 days to add basically bugger all to it. I'm not going to give them the courteous, I'm not going to be courteous and give them that nice nature of myself to say, oh, they've done this and that, at least they've not been trying hard enough. No excuses for a change of manager, for a kind of quick turnaround behind the scenes at the football club. This is a football club that has known for 365 days the areas that it's had to improve. It was a football club that Brendan Rodgers drilled through to the board in the summer what he needed. They didn't give him it then. We now have Martin O'Neill asking for it now. They still haven't delivered it in 26 days of a transfer window by the other side of the city. So, this is what I just want to bring this up on screen because this really wound me up earlier today, and this, as I said, is going to get a bit venty, a bit ranty today on this channel. This really wound me up. Now I've not followed this story any further from Florian Plettenberg earlier, and obviously it's not my job to talk about Rangers on this channel, but apparently Rangers were pushing to sign a striker from I think it was the German Tri-Liga, to be fair. We'll come on to that in a moment. From Hansa Rostock for €3 million. Apparently that was happening. We're 26 days into the window and Celtic haven't spent a fucking penny, by the way. We launched this Not Another Penny campaign as a support, as a collective, and it feels like the board have actually taken it upon themselves to take part in relation to the transfer window. I am sick and tired of seeing Rangers spend money and us not spend money. And you can say whatever you like about the quality of player, and this is what I kind of alluded to a moment ago. I had one of my mates say earlier, and it's true, to be fair. If I believe Hansa Rostock are in the Tri-Liga, which is the third division of German football, right? If we tried to go and sign somebody from the third division of German football, we would probably have fans complaining and moaning, is this the level? Is this where we're shopping? But that's not the point for me. It's besides the point. And you need to be fucking daft at this stage to ignore the fact that Rangers are actively investing in their squad while we take a back seat and we do absolutely fuck all. They're investing, we're standing still. We're signing loans to try and take us by. We're acting like a third place club. I'll come back to that same line I used at the top of the stream. Acting like a third place club. They're spending millions, and whether these players turn out to be good or not, it doesn't matter. What is going on at Celtic? How are we here? Why is this happening? It's an absolute calamity from head to toe at the club, and it has been all season. Look, I'm going to try my best not to repeat the same things that I've been saying all year, but this board have now crossed the line of no return. They crossed that line of no return months ago. There was people who celebrated Brendan Rodgers leaving the club, and we now find ourselves in a position where all these months later since he's left, the same things are happening and history is repeating itself. No managerial changes are making any difference. This club is totally and utterly broken, and we're leaving ourselves in a position where we can't do nothing, even though we have upwards of 70, 80, God knows, maybe even 90 million pounds in the bank. I don't know what the latest financial records will show come the time they're out, and we're spending none of it. We're actively choosing against spending it. And I know that we had Martin O'Neill come out and say he's had players handed to him that he's had to maybe, throw to the side because he doesn't deem them good enough or whatever. Are the members of Celtic's scouting team canteen workers? Are they the cleaners? What are they doing? There is so many questions that must be answered. Questions that we didn't get to ask at the AGM because guess what? They shat themselves and they kicked us out the room. We are being run by criminals. Underline that word, put it in capital letters, bold and italics. We are being run by criminals. And there is nothing Celtic, I think, can do in this next week to repair the damage that has been done reputation-wise and support-wise for those that run this club. Now, there's work we can do in this next week to certainly challenge for a league title. It doesn't matter if Celtic go on to win a league title, a Scottish Cup, and Christ, even the Europa League. Nothing would turn my opinions of this board around. They have left us for dead, and we're watching the other side of the city lap it up, spend millions, and make a right good go of it. Do you know what? Fair fucks to them. As much as I hate them across there, as much as I despise Rangers, and we all do in here, and I know that there's plenty of... In the last few days, I've had so many Rangers fans comment saying, do you know what? I actually enjoy your stuff because you say it how it is, and you're fair in your assessments, and blah, blah. I've always tried to be. I've always said it how it is. The way that I read what's happening over the other side of the city right now is they have saw the gap in the market, essentially. They have saw prime time opportunity and went, fuck it. Let's throw the kitchen sink at this. Whereas Celtic, we're tapped out. We're John Cena in his final match, tapping out, giving up. It's almost as if we don't want anything. It's almost as if everything, as I've been saying for months, has been self-inflicted and led us to this point. And you've even got people like Callum McGregor begging once again for the Celtic board to do something. To do something to fix this team. We've had Martin O'Neill since the day he came back in his second spell as Celtic manager saying that we need to supplement this squad, and we've barely fucking supplemented it. We've given him a loaned-in right back, and we've given him a striker who's scored one goal this season, who admittedly I like the look of so far. Is it enough? Is it buggery? Callum McGregor came out. I just realised that this whole time I have had the starting... If I had that starting 11 thing on the screen the whole time, and people wouldn't try to tell me about that. Apologies. I didn't know that was on screen. I wish that you said. And the fact is, Motherwell are breathing down our necks. You're right. This is what Callum McGregor had to say earlier today. And I think it just drills in where we are right now. Callum McGregor saying, I think that every season you need to keep strengthening, keep trying to make the team better and the squad better. So it's much the same. Obviously, everyone knows the situation that we're in. We do need a little bit of help in terms of quality, in terms of boosting the squad, and I'm sure the manager will get the players that we need. So I've got a few things in relation to this that I want to say. Mostly I am in, of course, support of the captain in terms of, coming out and saying that we need players. I wish... And I know he can't do this, right? I get it. He's a professional. He's employed by the club. She has a very good working relationship with probably everybody at the club. He's not exactly going to come out and say, fucking hell, Michael, get your finger at your arse. I wish that there was a ruthlessness about Callum in saying these. Instead of saying, oh, we do need a little bit of help, come out and say, this squad is desperate, crying out for quality additions, and we need that over the next week. Don't fanny about with it. Don't beat around the bush. Just say it as it is. But Callum McGregor, God bless him, who has been a servant and a half... I've done it again, there's the lineup reaction. Has been a servant and a half to this football club. Has had to beg publicly, not for the first time, for us to make signings. Just like Brendan Rodgers had to beg publicly about making signings. And despite all of that, the people at the top of the club, and of course Dermot Desmond more than anybody, has refused to do that. And it's verging on the point where they're doing it in my opinion, purely to spite the fans, the same way that they wanted to spite Brendan Rodgers. So it doesn't matter, apparently, what Callum McGregor comes out and says in the media, in the press, in terms of wanting to try and improve this squad, improve this Celtic team. It doesn't matter, because we're just going to have these crooks at the top, the criminals, as I said, underline that word, act in spite of us. I would love to do I don't know if anybody has the math in front of them. I really should have done this. Rangers are going to be, by the time this window is done, spent, upwards of £10 million, I think, maybe. They've spent millions if they get all their business done in the next week, and I'm sure they'll do. And we're just sat here. It feels like almost grieving at the state or the direction that our football club is headed. It is an absolutely shambolic place to be in right now, and I don't think we're going to get the work done that we need before the end of the window. I said yesterday on 2 separate podcasts, my own and the Celtic Exchange podcast, if this Celtic squad does not see the needed improvement by the end of that transfer window, we won't win the league. We won't. And I think it's time that a lot of us need to accept that. And I don't want to say that out of, for dramatic effect or to blow up a clip or anything like that. What evidence is there to suggest that this Celtic team, without any further addition, can go and win a league title when we can't beat Rangers at our own stadium, when we can't beat Hearts? We've played Hearts 3 times this season. We haven't won once. When we hobble over the line against everybody else, essentially, we are hanging on. We are hanging on to a prayer that Saint Martin O'Neill can bring us a spirit that can carry us to a league title. But I fear that even him, with all his mighty wisdom and his quality and his intelligence, will struggle to do that if he's left with this side. We need the improvements. We have 1 week to do it, and the fact of the matter is, it looks as though it's heading in the direction where we're going to be signing loans, we're signing duds because of terrible strategy, terrible planning, and because of a board who are incompetent and couldn't fucking run a bath. So that's where we are. It's a frustrating day, a frustrating start to the week, and I think it's going to be a frustrating end to the week, to be quite honest. And the worst part is, we're going to get into I want to get to all your points. I want to get into the actual stuff that's out there tonight. There's nothing concrete enough or suggestive enough to indicate that Celtic are actually going to be doing anything anytime soon. There's nothing to suggest that Celtic are going to have players through the door immediately. I know that Chavan Chara was a very quick one. It was done and dusted within, a 24-hour wrap, it felt like. His name was out there and he was next thing he's on his way to Glasgow. And maybe that'll happen again with 2 or 3 different players. But listen, I'm not holding my breath. We're a fucking mess, and it's just devastating to believe where we are. A couple of donations to run through very quickly. Surely Welsh and money for the Motherwell lad. Look, it seems like, and this is so frustrating, Blake, it seems so blatantly obvious to go out and sign Maswinisi from Motherwell. Just pay the money that they fucking want. Give them Stephen Welsh as part of it. And that would appease a lot of people. It would give Martin O'Neill a player that he, I think, is very publicly acknowledged and is his admiration for. But because that's obvious and because it should be pretty easy, considering he only has 6 months left and he's 5 months left in his contract, means Celtic won't do it, will it? But thank you for the donation. John is well donating, saying, is Martin O'Neill due to quit? Football Insider said. Football Insider talk absolute nonsense. I don't think, and I will use the word think very quickly because I can't guarantee nothing. But no, I've not seen anything or heard anything to indicate that Martin O'Neill is due to quit anytime soon. I would not blame him if he fucking quitted, to be fair. I would want to quit in this situation as well, with the shite he's been left. And but thank you for the donation, John. I appreciate it. So, yeah, look, listen, there'll be a wee bit of a longer stream tonight because I haven't even got touching on the transfer related stories for now. There was an article put out by Scott Burns this afternoon talking about Celtic's transfer state of play, and apparently the acceleration that's been done behind the scenes to go for 4 transfer targets. Now, whether or not we get those 4 transfer targets or not, well, Maswinisi, if he's extended for another year, we're same situation, go and pay the money Motherwell want. But anyway, back to the point. Scott Burns says that Celtic are trying to accelerate their case for 4 signings in this window. One of them being a goalkeeper, apparently, which I've I'm just kind of stunned by, and I don't expect to see a goalkeeper through the door anytime soon. He said, so Scott Burns' words in the article were along the lines of, Celtic will add again, another central defender has become a priority, especially after the Austin Trusty red card. Sean Maloney and the recruitment team are primarily looking at loans or loans with options in the first instance. I don't see Celtic making too many permanent signings in this window. They've brought back Stephen Welsh from Motherwell, but it doesn't look as though he's going to get a chance under Martin O'Neill. I wouldn't be surprised if another goalkeeper and a winger or an attacking midfielder was brought in. There should be one or two arrivals before the close of the window. I would also expect Welsh to return to Motherwell if Celtic can get an early deal done. So that's where we kind of lie, apparently, with Scott Burns' insider knowledge. You can take that with a pinch of salt, or enjoy that as you can. I mean, I honestly don't like to get drawn into all the nonsense, because we start with saying that Celtic are going to accelerate 4 signings, and then it ends up with Celtic will probably get 1 or 2 in before the window. So what one is it? Are Celtic signing 4? Are Celtic signing 1 or 2? Look, I am willing to go Birds, by the way. I am willing to put a bet on right now that Celtic probably end up spending £0 in this window. And if that is the case, we need to do something. We need to boycott games. We need to make the statement clear. And I can't side with the whole, we need to stand by them and blah, blah, blah. They aren't standing by us right now in that boardroom, and they deserve to have the same treatment given their way. So it's just disastrous all round. I mean, if we got 4 signings, it's no guarantee it fixes our season. It would be a step in the right direction, obviously. But Celtic really need to get a move on, man. And it's getting tedious. It's getting so boring. And I'm fed up of hearing myself moan. But they are destroying my football club, man. They're literally killing any chance we have of success this season right in front of our very eyes. And we're just... And they expect us to just sit and take it. I'm sorry. I can't have that. I can't just sit here and accept the state of the club we're in and have so many people going, stop your whinging, you're spoiled, you're entitled. Fuck off. I am sorry. They are just killing the joy and sucking the life out of this football club right now, and it's criminal. Will Celtic hit that accelerator? God knows. There's been a couple of names mentioned tonight. The first one we'll talk about very, very quickly if I can get the story up, but I don't see it going anywhere. Apparently there's a couple of clubs kind of floating. I think there's been a bid submitted elsewhere. One of the ones that came out over the last 24 hours was surrounding a Norwegian midfielder, Felix Horn Myhre, I believe. Apparently he's ready for a move from Brann in this transfer window. As of tonight, Brøndby have apparently launched a bid to try and sign him. 2.6 million is what they've submitted. 2.6 million. I am so fucking sorry, but if there's you cannot excuse anybody at this football club for saying we can't blow that bid out the water. And do you know what? We are past the point of saying like, we can't just go and spend millions on some unknown entity. Sorry. Yes, we can, and yes, we should. If you want to win a league title, the time for careful negotiation is gone, Michael Nicholson. It's gone, everybody. We need to go and spend money now. 2.6 million. Celtic, and I'm not saying they should do this, but Celtic could hypothetically go out and fucking double that bid right now and land the player if they want him. If you adore a player, just go and sign the fucking player. Stop monitoring. Stop assessing. Stop evaluating. It's the 26th of January. The 26th of fucking January. So apparently he's set for a move. Whether that's to Celtic or not, I wouldn't expect a thing, but his name is one that's been mentioned, and to be honest, there's not enough out there right now for me to justify probably spending a lot of time talking about that, because I just don't think there's enough there right now to suggest that is actually like gonna go anywhere. He looks a solid player. He's been capped 5 times for the Norwegian national team. He's very highly spoke of within Norway. If you just have a quick look at his player profile from this season on Transfermarkt, currently valued at €3.5 million by them. And this is his stats this season. He's played in Europe. He's played in the Europa League 2025 campaign in Norway. 4 goals and 4 assists from central midfield. Very highly rated, it seems. I like the look of him a lot. Once again, I come back to this, like I said the other day, I like the situations when you've got players that have played in Europe, they're capped for their national side, especially when they're good national sides like Norway, who are, by the way, going to the World Cup. and all the and versatile. I mean, look at this positions played chart. This is like Celtic. Go and double the fucking money Brøndby are offering. Make him a Celtic player. Granted, it's not a guarantee that every guy wants to come to Celtic. But, yeah, we're in a mess. As I said, probably not worth talking about him too extensively right now because I don't think there's enough in it right there to suggest that that Celtic are actually going to go in and get him. But, hey, thank you, Voice Tech, by the way. It's good to see you, and I'm glad to see you after Thomas Chavanchara's contributions at the weekend. Saying, first assist for Thomas and something for you, Ryan, to feel a little bit better. Get a beer, my friend. I will. Trust me, Thomas. I will. You're a legend. Thank you, brother. Thank you for so far for the services of Thomas as well, who is off to a decent start. So, yeah, mixed reports on everything right now. God knows the direction in which we're heading in. It is a sore head. It's a sore head of a football club to talk about right now. I honestly, for anybody in this chat, for anybody who's watching this, hours on, or whatever, and you're still sitting there confident of any success this season, please show me your dealer. Get me on the stuff that you're on. I need it because I want to feel good and I want to feel optimistic. I want to feel confident. I'm just I'm at my wit's end. Thinking about positivity at Celtic right now. It just feels like it's constantly going in the direction of shite. And that's painful. Right, we'll go into the Q&A. I'm kind of refreshing the live stories as I go in case anything comes out while we're talking. There has been a date confirmed by Sky Sports for Austin Trusty's SFA hearing. A hearing will take place on Tuesday, so that's tomorrow apparently for this hearing in regards to Austin Trusty's red card. I expect it to be overturned, surely. The way that this season's going, I wouldn't get too optimistic or confident about that. But nonetheless, Tuesday tomorrow is apparently the hearing for Austin Trusty, and we'll see what the outcome of that is come tomorrow. That news has been dropped over the last hour or so, I think. I said a very interesting point, just to finish off before I go into the Q&A. From, I think it was Edward in the chat, if I can find it. It was Edward, channel member Edward. Saying, I remember you saying years ago, it might have been the 8/9 in a row seasons, this is our chance to bury them. If we played our cards right and now they have overtaken us, there's only a certain someone to blame. That's the thing. Only come the end of the season can we say with certainty that Rangers have overtaken us or anything like that. I think that talking about the term overtaken takes time. I mean, a lot of people might have argued that they overtook us back then when they won the league in 2021, and then look what happened. We went on to win 4 in a row. So they didn't overtake us. So you've got to be very quick. You got to be very careful before you jump in quickly and say things like that. But Edward, you're bang on the money. We had the chance to bury them, and we still had the chance to bury them over these last 4 seasons. We had the chance to bury them heading into this season, and to really establish some sort of gap, even with these new 49ers owners coming in. And what have we done? We've allowed the new owners to creep up on us, potentially go and win a league title this season. We have let our control spiral out of control. And it's where we are. It's just been a controlled downfall. And the blame, we all know where it lies. We all know where it lies. And I think that 90% of Celtic fans are all agreeing with that. Thank you to Joshy Boy for the day. I've got a couple of donations to run through before we get to the Q&A. Hi Ryan, have heard a lot of the spoiled rubbish. It's not the fact we aren't top, it's the fact we're putting up no challenge. Thank you. And that's, I had a shout out to Stevie, if he's watching, who I bumped into in the gym today. He's a viewer of the channel. So shout out to Stevie if he's watching. But one of the things that I said when I was in a conversation today was that this isn't about Celtic, being third or not being top of the league or not winning every game. This is about the full-on state that we've fallen into. Celtic aren't just a team that's, kind of struggling for results. This is a team in total free fall. And it is a club that has no clear direction forward. And if you can't see that, I'm sorry, you are blinded by the love for an entity that has no control in the matter. Just because you love Celtic doesn't mean you can't criticise them or can't be worried about the way that things are going. Celtic as a football club and an entity has no control here. The only people who have control are the very people destroying it. And if you can't see that, you're blinded by your love for the initials CFC. Because this club is in total freefall. It's not about not winning every trophy. And there is some people who somehow get to the end of the year after not winning a league title and go, "Oh, it's fine, we can win it next year." Have you seen the way we are playing football right now? I don't even want to think about next year if this is the direction it keeps going. It's not about losing a league title. It's about the fucking state of what I'm watching at my football club. That's what it's about. So thank you for making it clear, Joshy. You're spot on the money. And thank you to Rayan who donated as well. Also, hey, listen, enough of the vending machine jokes in the chat. Can a man not go to the gym? I know I'm not the slimmest of gyms, right? But come on now. And Rayan, thank you for the donation, saying we need 4 players in, 2 wingers, a striker and a centre-back. Shame it will be some shitey loan signings on deadline day. Absolutely embarrassing. And I agree. Is there any way that you can turn this state of mind and turn this state of thinking into, saying or suggesting that Celtic can pull off a worldie of a transfer window in the next week? I honestly don't think so. I honestly don't think that there's a way that we can do that. It would take a miraculous turn of events in the next 7 days for me to sit here on this chair and go, we've turned this window into a winner. So, we'll wait and see. On that note, let's go to questions and answers. I'll do, about 10 minutes or so, and we can talk about what you want to talk about. Just very quickly, let me do something here. Right, get your questions in. God, I don't even know if I've got it in me anymore, to be honest. 2.5 million for the Norwegian player. Here's 100 grand and a kebab pie. That's the Celtic negotiating ways right there. That's how it goes. I mean, listen. Do you know what? No, I was going to go a step too far there, maybe. I'm just going to leave it. Ryan, we have too many shite bags in this team. You can have quality, but if you don't have the mentality and you're a wimp, you won't win bugger all. Martin deserves a statue if he wins this title. I agree with every single part of that. I mean, I've been saying it all year. All year. A team full of, every time they face any adversity, they go right into their shell. I feel like it's a team that lacks any real backbone, spine right now. And that's been evident across all stages of this season so far. It's nothing new. But yeah, Martin would deserve a statue if he somehow won this league title. I could not care what Rangers do, if I'm being honest. I only care if we spend, etc. They will get found out. They can't spend constantly and get away with it, Ryan. But I mean, I understand to an extent what you're saying, but like, to say that they can't spend constantly and get away with it, I mean, they look as though they're making strategically planned signings. They're not just spending for the sake of it. Well, from where I stand, I look at every signing they're making and go, that looks pretty decent. I mean, the boy they've been linked with tonight, or today, if I can find his name again, Ryan Naderi, who is having a great season in the Tri-League, 8 goals, 5 assists, €3 million, looks like a bit of astute spending to me. So, like, at one point, look, for years Rangers have done this, right? They've spent money on duds and it's got them nowhere. At one point, that's got to end. And I have a feeling that under the new ownership and the new footballing model, since they've got rid of the clowns like Patrick Stewart, etc., their fortune's going to start changing at some point. And we can't act naive to that. Just because we've been so good for the last 10 years and they've been so shite for the last 10 years. So I don't know. I get an element of what you're saying, but I'm not going to sit here and say, like, oh, we shouldn't worry about them. They're in good form. They've got a coach that's clearly pretty good. And look at us. We are hoping and praying that Martin O'Neill can save us. Not any of our players. So, thank you to Boys in Green for being a member for 15 months. Saying, being serious, who would you keep in this squad this summer? The squad is absolutely pathetic. Love the channel. Thank you, Boys in Green. I appreciate that. Listen, I'll probably do a tier list between now and the end of the season, saying exactly who I would keep and who I would let go. But we are, and look, in football, you're never going to have a total clear out. Like, it's just impossible. You can't get rid of 25 players and sign 25 players. But I do think there has to be a bit of an extensive look over coming up and approaching this summer in relation to who stays and who goes. There are plenty of players who are far from good enough to wear the Celtic shirt. And I'll once again come back to the great Jock Stein's quote. Celtic jerseys aren't fit to shrink to inferior players. And right now they are shrinking to fit a group of inferior players. A whole group of inferior players. So, listen, I'll talk about that more in depth towards the end of the season, boys in green, but I think that it's going to be one of those ones where it'll be a shock to the system when we see how many we're actually willing to keep. Hello, Mark. How are you doing? Raining in Malta. That is an absolute gutter, by the way. I'm sorry to hear that. It's good to see you, though, Mark. I like to see you in the chats. Watching our board diminish and destroy 15 years of dominance in real time is absolutely soul-destroying. And look, era's come to an end and all that. I get it. Like, you can't, but this was never going to last forever. As much as some people might have dreamed of it happening and Celtic being the dominant force in Scottish football from now until we're all in our boxes, it was never ever going to happen. But to actually watch it happening in the way that it's happening it's soul destroying. And I, once again, will come back to the point, and I know I've turned a lot of people off from this channel in the past few months with my negativity, but I cannot believe that there's people out there who can't see that, who can't see the way that it's happening, the fashion that it's happening, and go, yeah, this is pretty bad. But baffles me. It absolutely baffles me. Let's keep going for the next kind of 5 or so minutes, 5-10 minutes. We'll try and keep. What happened to the Canadian boy? Has that just been binned because it was a Nancy/Tisdale timed situation, says Kay Sanson. There was something that came out about Nico Segura, if that's who you're talking about, it will be, in the last couple of days, suggesting that Celtic are still interested, but we've not acted on any of that interest. Because why? Because we don't want to spend money. We don't want to spend money. It's as simple as that. Jamie saying, I don't mean to sound entitled, but we should be so far wide and clear of everyone. It's embarrassing that we've stood still for so long and let Rangers and Hearts not just catch up but overtake. It's not entitled. Look, there will be Rangers fans watching right now. I know there is. Hello guys, good to see you. I said it when the 49ers takeover happened. At some point, they will start to breathe down the neck of Celtic and competitiveness will return to Scottish football. Rangers will return to being a challenge for Celtic, a credible challenge, much to the disapproval of many Celtic fans who wanted to refuse that could ever happen. It was always going to happen. Did I think it was going to happen in 6 months? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's not entitlement. We were in a position heading into the start of this season where we won the league by God knows how many points last year. We were a penalty shootout away from another treble, and we made our best run in Europe in a number of years. Our most credible run in Europe in a number of years. And yet in 6 months we've let all of that slip away to a new ownership group that really should have taken a good couple of years to get their feet in the door, get ready to understand the climate of this league, and then get their battle going. And as Chill Pills just said in the chat, we're going down without a fight, and that's what the problem is. The problem isn't that we aren't doing well enough on the park. The problem is that we're going down without a fight, we aren't seeming to challenge it, and that we're just letting this self-implosion happen on the daily with no end in sight. We have always been our own worst enemy. You're spot on the money. For the last 20 years, Celtic have been their worst own enemy, Mark. A lot of shite in the team, Ryan. A lot of shite. A lot of shite, simple as that. Ryan, I have seen us struggle in seasons gone by, but always been calm because of our previous squads. We have had players with backbone to come in over the bad spells. This team are weak physically and mentally, says Gordon. I agree. Physically, we are a really weak squad. And mentally, it seems like I don't know. It's so frustrating because, like, I'm not going to backtrack on what I said after Thursday night. Like, Thursday night, I was proud of Celtic. We went to Bologna and we fought with 10 men. But, you know, it's happening once every God knows how many games nowadays. Whereas I've been getting used to Celtic teams that would make me proud week in, week out. So I'm not going to suddenly start settling for less. Why should I suddenly start selling for less? You know? But I agree with you wholeheartedly, Gordon. Wholeheartedly. Rangers aren't great, but you're making out their quality. They're depending on their manager as well. I've never made out that they're quality. I actually think I said on a podcast yesterday that Rangers are a bit mundane. They aren't a great side right now. I've never once said that Rangers are a quality team, but they're a team winning games and getting results, and momentum is on their side. And momentum is such an important thing in football. The last time we played Rangers, they came to Celtic Park and they gave us a showing up. Doesn't matter if they're quality or not. We're that far worse that they don't even need to be quality. That's what's making this situation terrible. They've got a coach that's organised them and put them into a position where they can fight and they can win games. You know, Martin O'Neill is fantastic, and he's done a great job across the 2 interim spells for what he can do with this group of players. But without the investment that Rangers are saying, what else is Martin O'Neill expected to do? Seriously, ask yourself that. It's nothing about Rangers being quality. I don't think they are quality. Rangers are getting better, and we're regressing. That's what the problem is. That's where, you know, the trajectories start to, you know, one's going down, one's going up. And we know how that ends. Simple as that. There is no truth in Greg Taylor returning. Greg Taylor will not be returning to Celtic. Lots of points flying through. Do I see any chance of Dermot Desmond selling Ash McKenzie? No, I don't. No chance. He loves this right now. Rangers have won back-to-back games at Celtic Park. We are behind them now. Accept that and direct all the hatred of your body in your body towards the Celtic board. Couldn't have said it better myself, baldy prick. Especially that last part of the sentence. Right, I'll run through a few more before I log off for the evening. We'll round this up to a 45-minute stream. Usually it would only be half an hour. Mark, I honestly, if by the end of this transfer window, there has to be boycotts. There has to be something, and I will be there. I'll be at the meeting, at the Fans Collective meeting next week. I know what I'll be voting for. If there's numbers being taken on what we should be doing as the next step, I just feel like we're in a position right now where I'm like, right, well, something's got to change. Thing is, I obviously don't want to. I've got that whole aspect of you where you're like, oh well, Martin O'Neill, so you don't want to turn your back on him, but nobody's turning their back on Martin O'Neill. Nobody, and I don't think anybody would ever dream of doing so. Right, a few more. Let's see. It is draining. It's absolutely draining. What did I have for dinner? What did I have for dinner again? Oh, peri peri chicken and rice. There's a funner question. Went to Munich and never came back. That's one way to word it. Certainly feels like that. I wish I stayed in Munich as well at this rate. Tanecki is poor. Get another winger, please. I agree. Celtic desperately need a winger, and I've been saying that for months. In this window, we really need a winger. There's no two ways about it. Right. On that note, I think I've said everything that I can say in relation to tonight's stream. Yeah, we're in a bad way, and we have a week to fix this, or Celtic don't win a league title this year. It's as simple as that. Hopefully this time tomorrow when I'm on the channel in whatever capacity or form, whether that's live or in video form, we are talking about Celtic signing players. And I hope that Martin O'Neill goes through every single one of those fuckers at the top of the club and tells them exactly what we need and exactly what they've done to destroy everything. Right, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me this evening. Thank you for all your contributions. God bless everybody who's donated and been part of this stream tonight. And anyway, hopefully it gets better soon. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you all next time. That's not the right button. See you all next time. Cheerio.